Hello! Hi everyone. My name is Eve Shalom, and this is a video about chronic injuries and what to do when you have a chronic injury. And this could be an injury from an accident, it could be something that's just like bothered you and kept bothering you over a period of time, or it could be something you were born with. And so I want to just talk about different ways to address it. And I'm going to go from things that are pretty common knowledge, and then kind of just like into stuff that's a little bit more esoteric. So hopefully some of this may be useful for somebody, I'm hoping. So the first thing is to make sure that you have like the instant medical treatment that you need, like if something needs to be looked at by a doctor, that you do that, x-rays, etc., like so that you can like actually know what the problem is. A lot of the time we just kind of ignore things for a long time and hope that it will go away by itself. But I do believe that knowledge is power, so it's good to make sure you do your homework and find out what the problem actually is. I know I have this like nagging shoulder thing that I had an injury when I was younger, and then like in the last 6 months I kind of injured it a little bit again, and I haven't gone to get it checked out, but it does keep improving, so that's why I haven't, because it's getting better. But if it was getting worse, then I would need to get it checked out. So that's why that's one way of deciding too. Like if it's getting better, then you don't have to do something different. But if it's not getting better, then it's a good thing to go get it checked out. And then once you know what the issue is, or what different parts of your body it's concerning, then it can be good to work with somebody who is very good with their hands and can actually work with your body hands-on. And this is for a variety of reasons. One reason is, like they can prescribe exercises or stretches that might help the area feel better. There's also information that I feel gets passed through touch and through hands. So when you have an educated practitioner who really knows what they're doing and like looks at the body and understands the body really well, when they place their hands on you, there's information that you receive on an unconscious level just from the touch and from being able to see what they see, and also, conversation. You can like learn things about your own body from how they see your body and what they notice in the way that you move. So that's actually like really exciting when you find different body workers that you really enjoy working with and feel like you're able to learn a lot from them about how you move or how you live in your body. And so examples of that would be different types of massage practitioners, Thai yoga massage, shiatsu, Swedish. There's also Feldenkrais structural integration practitioners. There's people who do something called Rolfing, which is also called structural integration. Then working with someone like a chiropractor. The chiropractor, it's important that you take your time so that you're not like trying to get it all fixed really quickly, but that you just really take your time with all the sessions and like really understand what's happening with your body and how it's changing so that you can hold on to the improvements. I found it very helpful, but I know that some people look at chiropractors as kind of a quick fix, and then it just usually goes back to the old way. So you have to really like take your time with it and understand what's happening so that you actually do progress and move forwards in a methodical way. So other kinds of body workers, there's a lot of different kinds of massage out there. It's important to find a practitioner that you can connect with and that you feel comfortable with and safe with. That's like the number one thing. If you don't feel safe with the person, then you can't work with them. Your body is not going to be receptive, and it's just not going to feel good, and it's going to make you avoid working on things. So being able to find someone you feel safe with is super important. Craniosacral therapy can also be another type of body work that can help with chronic pain and understanding habits of the body. Alexander technique is one more. So these are examples of different types of body work that can help relieve chronic pain, teach you about possible holding patterns or chronic tensions that you may hold in your body, and help you release those, give you some more body awareness to understand how you live in your body on a daily basis, and then how you use it from the mechanics point of view, like being able to understand how you use your joints, how your posture is, what your relationship to gravity, how you stand on your feet. All those things become really important when you're dealing with chronic pain, because sometimes we have these ways of perpetuating the cycle and continuing the cycle of pain, and we don't realize that how we're holding our body or how we're moving through the world is adding to it. So it's all those repetitive movements, and just the fact that we stand or walk from A to B, like everything you do a little differently and a little bit with better functioning is going to help, and it's going to take away some of the chronic pain. So it's really important to start to develop awareness, or to deepen your body awareness if you already have some, so that you're able to connect to your body in a different way, and make more movement choices. Just like how you reach to pick something up. When you have a greater awareness, you're going to reach to pick it up in a way that's less strained for your body, and you organize yourself around whatever you're picking up so that it's going to be easier to lift it. So you'll be able to use more of your stomach muscles or your legs, and or you're not going to be putting yourself in an awkward position when you're trying to lift it. So all that kind of body awareness can make a big difference in how we use our body. So that's just like the first layer I wanted to address, is like the physical use of our bodies on a daily basis, and noticing where we hold tension in a chronic way and working to release that tension. So that's kind of on a physical level. And then if you're going to drop down one level underneath it, a lot of body workers are able to do this, but not all of them. So this is something good to know. Is the body worker, or in your process, are you comfortable with working on your emotions and your feelings? So one belief system that I hold is that we hold emotions in our bodies, that we feel our emotions with our bodies. Sometimes there are chronically held emotions where we go through life and we're just always just a little bit sad, or we're just a little bit angry. When you go through life with a chronically held emotion, and that's somehow held somewhere in your body, that's going to be a tension, or on the other side, it could be like an extreme looseness as a way of coping with holding that feeling. But there's going to be something that skews you just a little bit from healthy movement if you're always holding some kind of negative emotion. Or if you experience negative emotions and then do a lot of movement while you have a negative emotion going on for you, that can also contribute to pain. So there's this sense of emotional health where emotions just, you feel them, you experience them, and then they flow out, and there's a release. And ideally, our whole day just kind of goes in this emotional flow through all different types of emotions, and none of them are too extreme. They're just kind of flowing along. Maybe you might have a big emotion once in a while, but it's not going to be like unmanageable. This has to do with emotional health, and I'll make some more videos about emotional health too. But basically, when you feel healthy emotionally, your body doesn't hold on to a feeling, and it doesn't trap the feeling somewhere inside. So that's just the next layer. So when you have a chronic injury, sometimes that holding pattern, or that tension, or that pain can also be emotional pain that is hiding underneath the physical pain. Sometimes we're more comfortable with physical pain than we are with emotional pain. So it can be easier to say, yeah, my back hurts, and I'm identifying with my back hurting. And that's easier than saying, yeah, I hold this feeling of strain in my back because I'm always, doing a lot for other people or whatever it is. So there, if there's like a mental or an emotional feeling and then you carry that in your back, then that's different than a physical, like, oh yeah, just my back hurts. So, so being able to understand that there might be an emotional root underneath a physical pain is important to get to, because when you're able to work on that emotional root or reason or circumstance or situation, it can relieve the pain. And then you realize you were like too caught up in the physical stuff and you didn't deal with the feelings underneath that were actually causing the pain in the first place. So I've had that lesson learned a number of times myself, where I was like, oh yeah, this has a lot more to do with how I feel about something than like something just, wrong with my spine or something out of place. So it's really a change when you start to look at things that way. And there's one other layer that I want to mention. And this layer I'm going to mention has to do with the unconscious mind and archetypes and images and symbols. So the reason that I'm mentioning this layer is because sometimes we can get some idea in our head, and it can be a belief system, or it can be an image or a symbol that we saw in a movie or we read in a book when we were little, or that we saw in one of our parents or our grandparents or a family member. But sometimes there can be something that sticks with you, and it sticks in your mind, and it sticks in your mind as some kind of solution. So like you'll have a difficult situation, and your creative, imaginative mind will pick up some kind of symbol or image and hold on to that as some reservoir for the pain to go into. So like some emotional pain or overwhelming circumstances, it will take the image or the symbol, your unconscious mind will take the image or the symbol, and it will make it, it's called a mental formation, or sometimes a complex, but it will somehow put the pain in there, it tucks the emotional pain into that symbol. And then, this is really weird, and maybe some people might not agree, but this has been my experience that I've noticed, is that symbol will somehow be placed in my unconscious mind somewhere in my body. It will find a home somewhere in my body. And so when I'm working through a pain somewhere, I find emotions there, but then I also find symbols or images or memories, or something that, like a TV show or movie or book, something from my childhood, usually from my childhood, where that made sense to me at the time, and I resonated with it strongly, so then I held on to it as a way of making sense of my feelings. So it is a coping strategy. It's a type of coping strategy, but it's one that doesn't work long term. It's temporary, and then you outgrow it, and then it starts becoming a painful thing for you because it's something you're carrying with you that doesn't work anymore, because it doesn't apply to your current circumstances, and it doesn't allow you to integrate your unconscious mind with your new life experiences in a flexible, growing way, right? When you create these mental formations that you tuck uncomfortable emotions into, it creates rigidness, sort of like a rigid personality in a way, or a rigid body. And so then, because you're trying not to disturb those mental formations or disturb the content, because that can be scary when the content comes up. So one thing you might notice is if you're getting body work done, you might notice that things open up, right? One expression that I use for this is opening cans of worms. You know, all right, well, let's open another can of worms and see what's there. You know, and there might be emotions there, memories there, but there might be just like these unconscious, these symbols or images, or almost like paintings where you're getting a sense of what it's about, and there's, and the reason that it's kind of artistic in a way, and the reason that this can be a beautiful part of the process is because if you can get in touch with the symbol or the image that's resting in that part of your body, it can become part of a really large healing process, where your unconscious feels somewhat transformed when you connect to that image and you understand it on a deeper level and you appreciate it. The appreciation is super important. Like knowing that you chose that image somehow because it was super helpful for you and it was really important at the time. You resonated with it, and that had a lot of value to it. So it's really important that you appreciate any of these coping strategies that you find in yourself, even if they are outdated now. But when you understand the image and you connect to it, there's this new opening up. It's not an opening up of your body, although that's like a byproduct. It's kind of like a spiritual opening up. Your psyche, your unconscious mind opens up and releases, and there's some integration around letting go of this symbol, understanding what its usefulness was, integrating the comfort and the ideas that you have, and like bringing those back into your body in a new way, to meet yourself in the present more. So it's a little tricky to talk about this because I haven't really tried to explain it this way before, but hopefully this gives people some ideas as they're listening to it. And you can always reach out to me and ask questions, send me a message. I'm so happy to talk about this with anyone. I think this stuff is super cool. And I just know that we have very fascinating minds with lots of layers to them. And, primitive man were very in touch with those symbolic imagery parts of the brain and mind, and that was part of their life. And in modern society, we've tended to, kind of compartmentalize or bookmark that stuff or set it to the side, or, have to be an artist in order to be in touch with it. But I think that it can be accessible for anyone, and that it's kind of a right that we all have to be able to connect to ourselves on those different levels. And that there's a health and a new energy that comes from being able to release things that you may have been holding on that level. And then physical health becomes like a byproduct of the health that you find on a deeper level. So it all really works together. All right, well, thank you for your attention if you made it to the end of the video, and I hope you have a good rest of your day or evening. Have a good night.